I had decided to start a new life without him. But I wasn't the one who said it first. That honor went to my husband. It was supposed to be a celebration. Our daughter's graduation from university. A full ride, top of her class, months of sleepless nights and overdue essays, all culminating in this. A polished private room in one of Charleston's finest restaurants. Dozens of guests. Champagne. Laughter. Then Edward stood. My husband of 28 years raised his glass and said, in a voice just too smooth to be accidental, "I've decided to start a new life." Without Victoria. At first, no one moved. The room seemed to exhale, then hold its breath again. Knives paused mid-cut. Forks dangled over china. 50 pairs of eyes shifted from Edward to me, waiting for my collapse. For the shriek, the tears, the slap, something performative. Something that would confirm his story, that I was the problem. Instead, I smiled. "Congratulations on your honesty. I'm Victoria Clark. I'm 54 years old, and for the past 3 decades, I've played the role of the supportive wife. Not just played it, I mastered it. I built the backdrop so he could take the stage. 3 businesses, 2 breakdowns, 1 daughter. I gave it all to him. And this was my reward. Public abandonment, wrapped in champagne bubbles. I caught sight of Camille, the girlfriend, sitting near the back. Not hiding, not embarrassed, just calculating. Blonde, younger. The kind of woman who believed that stealing another woman's husband was somehow a career move. She had attended our Christmas parties. Once called me for resume advice, and now she was staring at her nails, trying not to smile. I reached into my handbag and pulled out a cream-colored envelope. I placed it beside Edward's plate, carefully, deliberately. He blinked. "What's this?" "Something to read later." Then I turned to my daughter, Lila, who sat frozen beside me, her graduation cap still on. Her face was pale. I kissed her cheek. "I'm proud of you, sweetheart. This day is still yours." And then I stood, smoothed my dress, and turned to our guests. "Please enjoy your meal. I wish you all a lovely afternoon." And I left. No scene. No breakdown. Just the sound of the heavy restaurant doors closing behind me, cutting off the stir of whispers and the beginning of his unraveling. Outside, the summer heat hit like a wall. But it was real. And for the first time in years, I could breathe. Behind me, I heard the doors swing open. Edward's voice followed, shrill, angry, desperate. "Victoria, what the hell is this? What have you done?" I kept walking. I didn't look back. That envelope I'd handed him? It wasn't a letter. It wasn't a plea. It was the first domino in a fall he'd never recover from, because Edward, for all his grand gestures, never understood one thing. I was never the weak one. I was the one keeping everything standing. While he flirted with his new life, I had been preparing, quietly, completely. 3 months earlier, I noticed transfers, small, irregular, leaving our joint account. The name on the receiving end was unfamiliar, but I knew money. I'd worked in finance for 30 years. He forgot that. Or perhaps he never saw it at all. I didn't confront him. Not yet. I started tracing, tracking, every dinner receipt, every hotel bill, every text message that arrived on his phone when he thought I wasn't looking. He wasn't just cheating. He was siphoning. Edward had promised Camille a future. With our money. In a beachfront condo. The same money I'd saved for Lila's education. The same funds I'd protected while he invested in woodworking tools and found himself for the 3rd time in a decade. And so I built my case. Quietly. Precisely. Coldly. Because what Edward had forgotten, what he had truly, catastrophically underestimated, was that the prenup he made me sign 28 years ago still held power. He'd insisted on it. I'd had family money. He wanted protection. Ironically, that same document had a clause that guaranteed I'd keep nearly everything in the event of infidelity. He'd written his own ending. Had simply decided when to begin it. So while he made dinner reservations with Camille, I retained a lawyer. His name was Philip. Brilliant, sharp, and surgical. We filed for divorce the morning of Lila's graduation. The papers were sealed. He couldn't see them yet. But they were real, and they were devastating. When I returned home that evening, I walked through the front door of our colonial home, the one I had renovated, refinanced, and quietly paid off. The one he had already promised to Camille. According to the messages I'd read, I went upstairs. His suitcases were packed, everything ready for his grand reveal. He was predictable. After all, I poured myself a glass of wine and waited. He came home angry, bursting through the door with the envelope crushed in his hand. "You served me divorce papers today?"
Are you insane?
"No," I replied. "I'm thorough. You should know that by now." He started pacing, threatening to fight me, claiming the prenup was invalid, expired. I let him talk. Then I handed him the document. Section 12, Fidelity Clause. Still active, still enforceable. And then I played him the recording, his voice. Camille's, the whole plan, laid out in their own words. She'll never make a scene. "Victoria trusts me completely," his voice cracked. "You recorded me?" "In Georgia, one-party consent is legal. I was that party." He sank onto the couch. "You're vindictive." "No," I said. "I'm precise." That night, I stayed with his sister, Diana. She'd seen them together first, at Christmas. She had given him a chance to come clean. He didn't. So she came to me. Family, after all, sees more than we think. Lila came that night too. Still in her gown, mascara streaked, eyes burning. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked. "Because I didn't want to taint your final semester. I didn't want this, his failure, to become your burden." She nodded, but her voice shook. "He told me he was proud of me. He hugged me. This morning." "I know," I said. "It's his greatest talent. Lying with a smile." The next day, Edward tried to access our joint accounts. They were frozen. The condo? Gone. The luxury car? Cancelled. Camille? Furious. Turns out she hadn't signed up for a man without resources. 2 weeks later, she left him. And I began again. I launched Clark Financial Transitions, helping women reclaim control over their finances during divorce, loss, and reinvention. Within 6 months, I had a full client list, 2 associates, and a waiting list. My name, once just a wife's title, was now on the door of a growing firm. The final divorce. Hearing fell on what would have been our 29th anniversary. Edward arrived looking older, smaller. The judge upheld the prenup. Every word. I kept the house, the investments, the retirement Edward left with his name, and a couch. Barely. As we walked out of court, he tried one last time. "I made a mistake, Victoria. Is there any chance?" "No," I said. "That door is closed." And for the first time, I think he understood. The envelope I'd handed him at the restaurant wasn't revenge. Not really. It was a declaration. I'm not the woman who gets left behind. I am the woman who hands you your ending and walks away with the last word.